Hello everyone to my talk. I'm Albert and this is a talk called Arbify, a quick overview of a Flutter localization made easy. Who am I? I'm 19, I'm from Poland. I'm currently a Flutter developer at LeanCode, just right at their office. I also like Flutter, just like everyone in this Zoom meeting, I guess, PHP and Go, among other languages. You can find me on GitHub and Twitter mainly. What is Arbify? Its GitHub repository description says it's an ARB files localization tool, and it's particularly dedicated to Flutter and its INTL package. But what it actually is like just write this. It's a convenient tool to translate your messages in your Flutter app, and it's just a tool to make localization, so implementing multiple languages in your app easier. There's a question, why did I start developing Arbify? And that's a great question. There was this one talk at Flutter Berlin X London not that long ago called Convenient Internationalization of Flutter Apps by Dominic. And by the way, Dominic is now GDE, so congrats to him. There was this one particular slide I didn't like about his talk. This is this slide. It says, it shows us the translation tools that Dominic personally recommends. And yeah, they're fine. I tested all of them, but they have one particular issue about all of them, not counting the last two, but they're like open source CLI tools mainly, not a fully blown tool with GUI. And this is this thing. Yes, all of them are paid. Yeah, there are some free tiers for them, depending on the number of translated messages, or maybe some private projects or something like that. But generally, they are all paid, and this sucks. And this sucks for people who just want to create some hobby app that's in, for example, their native language and in English, if you're not an English native speaker or something like that. So it's just not really convenient for hobby projects, and also small size companies have to pay for this, and usually that's some kind of money you would rather like to save, if you can, of course. Okay, but how is Arbify better than all of those tools? Well, there are two things that Arbify is, that's why Arbify is great, in my opinion. Firstly, it's open source, meaning you can see all the code from the Arbify, not only this like front-end stuff you see, but also the backend stuff. So you can like see if I'm not sending your precious data to some other place. But there's one really important thing about it. You can self-host it, meaning you can utilize your servers that you have in-house, or you can host Arbify using Docker on some cloud provider, or natively in PHP if your DevOps team is keen in PHP. And the second thing, it's Flutter focused, meaning if there is any new Flutter feature related to localization or INTL package got a breaking change or something like that, Arbify will most certainly provide an update with this. So you don't have to worry about Flutter support, and few of those tools that I've mentioned earlier in the Dominic's talk, they're not fully compatible with the ARB format. So that's where Arbify comes in. And what about the current development state of Arbify, because it's still in development phase? Well, it works. It really works. I've tested it. I migrated one of my apps to Arbify. But yeah, as I said, it's still under heavy development. So you know, just have this in mind and be prepared for some bugs. But let's stop talking. Let's go for a demo. For a demo, we'll create a new Flutter Hello World app that's a counter, and we will localize it using Arbify. I've already set up the Arbify using Docker. I'm not doing it live because it takes some time, but it's mainly cloning, copying the configuration, changing two lines that are commanded so you can do it really easily, and running Docker compose scripts. And let's go to our Flutter application. That's the Hello World application. I removed some of the comments. I simplified a few of the lines, but it's really just the same application. We have three strings here. As I can see, there's this Flutter demo application title. There's this content that says how many times we push the button. And also there's this tooltip saying the increment. And we're gonna localize it. So let's go to Arbify. It's admin password. Let's create a new project. Let's call it demo. Okay, now I have English here, but I want my app to be in English and in Polish because Polish is my native language, so let's add Polish. And now let's create those three messages that I mentioned earlier. So firstly, it's app title. That's the counter message, let's call it like that. And this is the plural message because it will vary depending on the number. And let's create the increment tooltip. And let me fill those values. Okay, we're done. As you can see, this green border says it's saved. And the next thing we need to do is go back to our Flutter app, go to pubspec.yaml, and we need to add one dependency, that's Arbify. And actually, we can move it to dev dependencies because we're using only the CLI. We're waiting for the VS Code to download the dependencies. It should take only a few seconds. Yeah, I already tested it before. So let's begin with running Flutter pub run Arbify download. It takes some time because of some weird behavior in Flutter tool. I'm investigating that. Okay, we've got an error that we didn't specify the configuration for our Arbify integration. So let's copy this and paste it at the very end of our pubspec. But also, we need to see if Arbify is at the very beginning of this line. Next, we're gonna change it so it matches our Arbify instance. Our Arbify resides at localhost port 8000. So let's copy it and paste it here. Right, and the ID of our project, that's number 4, as we can see in the URL. Okay, we can get rid of this line because it's default anyway. Let's run the command again. Yeah, it shouldn't take so much time, but What can we do, right? Okay, we have a link to get our secret. Let's create one like demo time. Let's copy the secret and let's paste it. Enter. Okay, it downloaded something. That's nice. Let's see this folder. We have our ARB files and also our Dart file with all the messages and all generated messages. That's nice. So we can go to our Dart application and we can proceed with adding some Dart code. So let's start with supported locales. We're gonna use the auto-generated as class, and we're gonna use the delegate that it generated. And now let's define the localization delegates. That's really similar. Also, if you're developing in Flutter and you're using material widgets or Cupertino widgets, there are a few widgets that need localization from Flutter itself. That's, for example, a calendar widget or a time picker, stuff like that. So we also need this particular dependency so we can use it, and also INTL is also needed for our messages to work. So let's copy those delegates that I prepared. Let's paste it here and comment. Let's import this. No, let's wait, import. No, I'm gonna import it by hand. Okay, the error should disappear in a moment. No. Okay, then I'm gonna just run pubget again. Nice, works. And here we are. Our Flutter application is still the same, but we eventually came to the translation moment. So let's change all of those strings to our translated messages. So let's just use as of context dot our message. I'm gonna do the same with the title and the increment. Here's a tooltip, and here I'm gonna create a new widget. And do you remember how we use the plural type of the message? That's how we can use the parameter here. We can put our counter variable just right here, and we can get rid of those. I save this. Yeah, as you can see, we have our newly translated messages, but we also added Polish. So let's change my device language to Polish. Awesome, let's get back to our Flutter app. Yeah, my virtual device is a little bit slow. Let's wait for it to reload, and here we have it. Nacisnąłeś przycisk 0 razy. That's in Polish. Let's increment that. Yes, it works. That's for 1. So everything works. So that was it when it comes to the demo. All the feedback, bug reports, and also GitHub stars are greatly appreciated. You can reach out to me on Twitter or just create a new GitHub issue. I'm reading all of them, don't worry. Arbify is still at the development phase, but it's usable right now. You can use it, try it for your hobby projects. If you're creating some production grade app, then I would have some kind of septic eye about it, but it works, and you can try it now. You can browse the GitHub repository by going to arbify.dev in your browser, or reach out to its Twitter at arbify.dev. And that was all about my presentation. Try Arbify.